The United States government is well known for conducting a wide variety of strange research experiments. Many of these are described as being on the cutting edge of scientific advancement. This has led to incredible breakthroughs in medicine, computer technology, agriculture, and a wide variety of additional fields used across the military. Oddly enough, however, there seems to be a recently declassified government experiment that was approved for release back in 2003, surrounding the training of psychic soldiers, and enhancements to the brain known as the Gateway Process Experience Experiments. The declassified document titled Analysis and Assessment of Gateway Process seems to be a written memo between a US Army researcher at the CIA and sent to a US Army operational commander located out of Fort Meade. The study of the memo seems to have been the analysis surrounding the legitimacy of the Gateway Process study, as the researcher writes the following in an opening statement. You asked me to provide an assessment of the Gateway experience in terms of its mechanics and ultimate practicality. Most likely the US government was unaware of what the Gateway process really entailed, and so sent an independent researcher to the examination areas to undergo the process, and learn if there was any legitimacy to the study in the first place for continued funding. Within the first paragraph of the document, however, the researcher makes a special note to include that the Gateway process was a technique designed by Ishaq Bentov, stating the following. Based on conversations with a physician who took the Gateway training with me, I had recourse to the biomedical models developed by Ishaq Bentov to obtain information concerning the physical aspects of the process. For those that are not aware, Ishaq Bentov was a leading Israeli researcher, known for his incredible contributions in the creation of patents for the steerable heart catheter, ECG electrodes, pacemaker leads, and a number of other patents that would help to form the Boston Scientific Meditech Corporation. Ishaq Bentov was also known for his contributions to the Israeli Defense Force, being one of the lead inventors on the Israeli missile project, as well as many other improvised weapons. However, what many are not aware of surrounding the Israeli inventor was his devout belief in following the mystical side of consciousness, which would lead to his primary contributions to the Gateway Process experiment. John Abel, Bentov's fellow business partner, was once quoted as saying that Bentov said the following. Bentov was interested in how the brain worked and actually attached electrodes to his head, which were connected to a function generator in which he could change the wave shape and the power, and learned about how the brain interprets these different frequencies, hinting at the plausibility of Bentov's connection with the Gateway Process experiment. The document then goes into the breakdown of what the Gateway Process holds, with the first explanation from the researcher being in regards to the human body's natural frequencies of the brain, and the frequency following response. According to the study, a form of enlightenment can be triggered in a person's mind when both hemispheres of the brain begin operating at the same frequency, allowing them to communicate without any form of distraction and leading to a heightened state of focus. Although it requires a number of different techniques to reach this state, the main contributing factor in the study was a device that relied on the human body's natural frequency following response. In the document, the researcher details the following statement. To achieve synchronization of brain hemispheres, the Hemisync technique takes advantage of a phenomenon known as the frequency following response, or the FFR, which means that if a subject hears a sound produced at a frequency which emulates one of those associated with the operation of the human brain, the brain will try to mimic the same frequency pattern by adjusting its brainwave output. Therefore, if the subject is in a fully awake state, but hears sound frequencies which approximates brainwave outputs to the theta level, the subject's brain will endeavour to alter its brainwave pattern from the normal beta to the theta level. Additional techniques for reaching a syncing of the hemispheres include assisted hypothesis from a psychologist, as well as techniques that match transcendental meditation practices, with a note stating that gurus who have practiced transcendental meditation practices for 20 years have the ability to reach a hemisphere sync for up to 15 minutes at a time, without any form of assisted technology. According to the document, This training lasts around 7 days before a person is capable of reaching a hemisphere sync frequency with the assistance of technology, and is capable of furthering the study with tasks related to skill in a gateway process experience techniques. The first task that is given to the trained subject is that of problem solving. When under the influence of synced hemispheres, a subject can call upon its higher self for assistance in solving problems, with the higher self representing a form of unfiltered subconsciousness that can remember everything ever taught to the subject, and use it for perfect creativity and logical deduction. The document details that this ability can be used to solve personal difficulties, technical problems in the realm of physics, mathematics, science, practical, administrative problems, and so on. In a way, turning the brain into an instantly responding and calculating computer that can analyze and process information at a much faster rate than normal. The second task that is given to a trained subject is referred to as an energy bar tool. The subject is then required to visualize and focus different forms of energy throughout its body, being fed by the universe to allow the body to undergo rapid healing processes. This could mean that with the increased focus on the mind, the brain can suddenly consciousness force autonomous physical processes, such as healing and heart rate with ease. The third, and usually described as the final task for most of the subjects, is referred to by the researchers of the gateway process experience as remote viewing, although it's not similar to traditional remote viewing noted by psychics to see distant locations using astral projection. Instead, the technique requires the subject to visualize and access parts of their memory, and begin to holographically portray the memory in such a way as to allow the person to relive memories with perfect total recall. The researcher writing the document then notes that this is typically where training and ability of most of the subjects end, and that less than 5% of the participants are able to move past these skills into the realm of impossible to understand psychic abilities. The document then details the following. The ability known as Focus 21 the Future, the last and most advanced of all focus states associated with the Gateway Training Program, involves movement outside of the boundaries of time-space as in Focus 15, but with attention to discovering the future rather than the past. The individual who has achieved this state has reached a truly advanced level. The research document then goes on to state that the ability to travel into the future is accomplished only after the subject is able to master an out-of-body experience. This occurs when the natural brain frequency of the hemispheres is synced, and then reach a matching frequency with the background electromagnetic phenomenon of the universe, allowing consciousness to imprint itself and begin to leave its body and journey out into the rest of the world, picking up electromagnetic information similar to how a radio captures radio waves, and how our eyes capture photons to imprint an image of our surrounding environment. Once this information begins to pour into the consciousness of a person, they can then begin the process of astral projection that will allow them to speed up time and look into the future, as well as deep within the past at moments that their memory would not be able to access. Unfortunately, the document does not go into any form of evidence surrounding the legitimacy of the claims of an out-of-body experience with the ability to see into the past or future with verifiable tests. Regardless of this lack of information, the formal conclusion of the document states the following. There is a sound, rational basis in terms of physical science parameters for considering the gateway process experience to be plausible in terms of its essential objectives of heightened brain activity. Additionally, the document seems to hold several pages involving a new scientific theory as to the formation of the universe, and that is actually a massive three-dimensional toroid, helping to explain why certain parts of the universe seem to be moving at faster speeds compared to others, as evidence of this donut shape moving the massive galaxies back down and around to the other side of the universe. The document then ends with the researcher stating that the gateway process experience should be provided to all members of the organization for heightened mental ability, and goes on to suggest a 12-step plan as to how to provide the gateway training to all members of the organization. Although the document fails to elaborate on the finding, the memo then states the training could open up members of the gateway process to be attacked by intelligent energy beings, if the boundaries of time and space are being surpassed, stating the following. Subjects must be intellectually prepared to react to possible encounters with intelligent, non-corporeal energy forms when time-space boundaries are exceeded, with additional statements that perhaps practical use of the gateway process experience could be used to gather information from such entities and the universal consciousness. So what do you think of this strange experiment known as the gateway process experience, funded in part by the Central Intelligence Agency, with the express purpose for creating heightened mental abilities? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, and help us by growing this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.